Few months ago, I made a video about the game Everywhere, which it's being developed by none other than Leslie Benzies, the mastermind behind the Grand Theft Auto games. It will include MindsEye, already called the GTA 6 competitor. There is some huge news regarding this project, but let's start from the beginning. So all of us obviously know that GTA 5 and really the whole franchise is extremely profitable. It doesn't take much research to figure that out, considering how many people know about the game and have played it and how much it's talked about despite being over a decade old. But if you really want to get into it, then even the data tells the same tale. For one, did you know that GTA 5 has sold over 5 million copies since the start of this year? That number is something many companies dream about, and just one game is getting those numbers way after its prime. And not only that, but the game was even featured as one of the best-selling games on Steam in 2021. So it's very easy to see that this franchise is one of the most profitable and successful ones out there. But that doesn't mean that GTA is invincible. And if you've been keeping up with all the recent game news, then I'm sure you have heard about the only game that can be a rival to GTA 6. Okay, so there is obviously an abundance of games that give you some level of freedom to make your own decisions and affect the storyline. From titles like Infamous, which allows you to choose between different story paths, to the likes of Skyrim, which gives you complete customizability. But what if there was a game that had games inside it that would allow you to play multiple games for the price of one game? Okay, so you might be confused already, but basically, a very interesting idea that one person had was making an engine that would essentially allow you to play any game made inside of it at any time. That engine can be used to develop any and all games without any restrictions, and will have the capability to make titles that push the limits and are far ahead of others in their category. It can be used to develop anything from your low-budget indie hits like Cuphead and Hollow Knight to AAA titles like Red Dead Redemption 2. But this idea is much bigger than just the technology. Now, a lot of you may not play Roblox, but almost all of us have heard about it, and that really isn't surprising since it ranks second according to player count on PC. One of its key aspects is just how diverse the game modes are, with players being able to choose between a horror experience or an adventure fantasy, a love story, and a house-building game. That game essentially functions as a hub on which people can choose which games they want to play, something that isn't found in most of the big-budget titles that are released these days. I did say most though, because the game I mentioned just a few seconds back aims to change that. And when I say it's everywhere, I'm being completely serious. Everywhere is a game that has a very ambitious goal. It's similar to Roblox in the sense that it will have multiple games that players are free to switch between, but things don't stop there, since its goal is to make games that are on a whole another level. All of their games will have significant amounts of funding, rivaling the budgets of some of the biggest titles out there, and just their first game has been in development for over 7 years. The first game to be developed on this engine is called MindsEye, and it is expected that this game would seriously redefine what it means to be an open-world game. It is set in a world that is larger and more detailed than any GTA game, with players being free to explore anywhere and get themselves lost among sprawling cities and the stories of the characters they meet. But things don't end here, as the game also boasts of multiple modes including a multiplayer in addition to its single-player mode. This game has the opportunity to completely revolutionize how we look at video games. One of its biggest selling points is just the beautiful aesthetic, which borrows from elements of cyberpunk to create a world that would feel engaging to interact with. And we would even have the ability to hack away at machines in the environment and to even control other characters. But just as interesting is the person behind this idea. Leslie Benzies was the president of Rockstar North, and that's nothing to scoff at. He's been a part of the development of multiple GTA games in the past. He left Rockstar in 2016 after getting into a disagreement with management. Benzies had a vision of the next big thing, a vision of a game that could make GTA look like child's play. And so he struck away and made his own company by the name of Build a Rocket Boy. With his experience and skills, and with how much Benzie is investing in the project, it is not a leap to assume that this would be a big release. And thinking that all of this is just hot air, that it won't develop into anything, is a big mistake. This game is no joke, and Benzie envisions that this would pave the way for Everywhere to become the next gaming sensation, a platform where each and every game can be played as much as you want. But an important thing to note here is the person who's making this happen, not the idea itself. Not only did he have one of the most interesting ideas that many gamers have ever come across, but he's also learning from the mistakes that Rockstar makes. And that is the most crucial part of this whole story. As we come back to the game all of us are familiar with, if I ask you what makes GTA feel so good to play, what is the secret that makes it our favorite game, what would you answer? Some of you may think about the amazing story that it tells. After all, characters like CJ have survived in our popular media. Others may even talk about the amazing world the story is set in, and the beautifully designed graphics. But to me, the thing that makes this game so amazing and so fun to play will always be the complete freedom it gives us. We choose our path, and the world changes to accommodate us. Whether you're a law-abiding citizen or someone who lives for mayhem. And if you have been a long-time survivor, then you might even know about the many graphics mod showcases I used to do. But seriously, the best aspect of GTA 5 is the absolute freedom you get to pick and choose how you play and what you do. And the upcoming sequel knows this, with how the map will be twice as big and full of storylines for us to get lost in. And fans have great hopes that the game will be as good as they hope, something which is repeatedly promised as I discussed in one of my recent videos. But that doesn't mean the development of GTA 6 is perfect. Considering most of the information we have on the game is from leaks, it's obvious that Rockstar is keeping a close watch on what the public knows and doesn't want to spoil us. But that also means that the game we've been theorizing about for a whole decade doesn't even have an official trailer. It is genuinely frustrating to wait for GTA 6, and many other games know this and know how big the market for games like the Grand Theft Auto franchise is. After all, these games were some of the most influential of their time and have inspired the art style, map design, and many more aspects of multiple games. But a certain upcoming game doesn't want to settle for just being similar to GTA. It wants to replace it. Rockstar is good at making games, and Take-Two, the company that owns Rockstar, knows that very well. These people truly understand what makes a game worthwhile, and have extremely talented people working on all their projects. I mean, you just need to watch one of my videos to get an idea of just how much Rockstar does. From opening a new studio to buying a motion design company, the company has a good idea of what works. But even though they're amazing at making games, a lot of fans are just disgruntled by how much information they give about those games. MindsEye knows this, and he's in the perfect place to take advantage of it. He knows that he can't rely on goodwill to sell his game. It's obvious that if he wants to stand a chance, he needs to market his game very well, so that people are inclined to buy it. And just going to the official page for Everywhere, you see that he's sparing no expense. From a beautiful teaser trailer to an interesting page about what exactly is everywhere, it is very pleasing to look at. And the simple tagline of "Everyone belongs in everywhere" is something that many players can get behind. And this game has already developed a small following of people who are excited to try it out when it finally comes out. And that brings us to one of the latest news regarding MindsEye. If you go back to the page I just mentioned, you'll notice that as of today, you can sign up to play an alpha version of the game when it comes out. And with how popular this game is becoming, with the official teaser trailer getting over 1.5 million views on YouTube, this alpha might make or break the game. It would give players the first look at this visionary idea and would be the culmination of the past 7 years worth of work. And if this trial run does well, it might be extremely bad news for GTA 6. The whole Grand Theft Auto franchise is built on the idea of giving players complete freedom. But now we have a game that has a huge budget and ambitious idea and gives players more freedom than any GTA game in the past. Both MindsEye and our favorite game have a lot of similarities, from tentative release dates to being highly anticipated, and there's a very good chance that both of them fundamentally change what it means to have a good launch. MindsEye might be the herald into a new era of video games, a new way to play video games. On the other hand, the release of GTA 6 will definitely be one of the biggest gaming events of our life. And since both of them may be released in 2024 or 2025, it means they'd be fighting for their fair share of the market. Both games have a lot invested in them, and so neither of the two can afford to fail. But I think in the end, all of this only means good news for me and you, the consumers. After all, it means we'd have two amazing games to play just a couple of years down the line. Before we wrap up, a huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you all for supporting my channel and my work. Don't forget to subscribe to not miss my next videos. Thanks for watching till the end. Have a great day everyone, and see you in the next one.